Hey everyone, it's that time of the year again. I've been playing games all year round, and now I have to decide which 10 games are going to rise above the rest. Overall, making this list was pretty simple actually. There were only, I'd say, about 3 games in general that made it a very hard decision. But I do want to list a few games before we begin that just didn't make the cut. First off, Digimon World Next Order. I wanted to love you. I really, really did. But you just made it so difficult to. Crash Bandicoot. I was so excited for you to come out, but I've never walked away from you happy. Always upset and angry at myself. And lastly, and unfortunately, is my game of the show from E3 2017, Lawbreakers. You were a blast to play on the show floor, but much like Overwatch, playing you without a group just left me bored. Anyways, everyone, let's jump right into my personal top 10 games of 2017. Number 10, Pokemon Sun and Moon Ultra. Alright, this should be no surprise to anyone who knows me. Yep, another Pokemon game. Oh, of course, Ray is going to rant about it and rave about it. I mean, he has a Pokemon sleeve after all. But that's not the case this time around. While it's true I love Pokemon, this game had some real issues. From the overcomplicated tutorial that just seemed to go on forever, to the game virtually offering you zero challenge until after you beat the main story, overall, it felt like I was just playing the original Sun and Moon again, with just a new DLC or patch on it that cost me $40. But damn it if I didn't have fun hunting down all of those stupid stickers and having a full team of massively oversized Pokemon. But would this game be a Game of the Year contender? Not a chance. There's no way. But personally, I'd say it fits pretty well as my number 10 spot. Number 9, Kingdom Hearts 2.8. Again, this is one that really shouldn't shock and awe anyone. My love for Kingdom Hearts is known far and wide in the kingdom, and this game was no exception. The game was split into 3 different parts: a video, a 2-hour-ish long demo about Aqua's story, and Dream Drop Distance. But I'll just be covering Aqua's story here. It felt like the latest tease in the Kingdom Hearts series, doing their best to basically put off Kingdom Hearts 3 even further. But that didn't take away from this game to me. Aqua's story played really well, and even though it only took about 2-ish hours to beat it, I had a great time with it. The combat just seemed to flow so smoothly, whether you were attacking, defending, jumping through the air. The magic casting animations were probably the peak for me. It had me just spamming thunder constantly because it looked so cool. Short and sweet is definitely a fitting term for this game, and so is my number 9 spot. Number 8, Poyo Poyo Tetris. For everyone who doesn't know what a Poyo is, it's very similar to Tetris. It's a Japanese tile matching game, but when you pair Poyo Poyo and Tetris together in a party setting, this game becomes a totally different monster. With multiple game modes to switch between and up to 4-player versus mode, this game is easily perfect for any party, especially if you want to hate your friends afterwards, which is always the goal. While this game isn't nearly Game of the Year material, it's one game I had a ton of fun with this year, and I'm happy to play around anywhere, anytime. Number 7, Mario Rabbids Kingdom Battle. Whoever at Nintendo decided to mix Mario and the Mushroom Kingdom with the rabbits must have lost a bet, because I can't see any other way this became a real thing. The overall story was nothing special, but the cover-based XCOM style combat and those stupid jokes carried this game way farther than it should have been able to. Even though the shooting was completely based around luck, and the levels felt more like puzzles than actual cover-based shooter, It had me going back and retrying missions and trying to get the best scores, to earn money, to buy all of the dumb weapons, like the rocket launcher, or the squeaky ducky grenade, or the giant hammer. I don't know how else to explain them. This was definitely a game that surprised me, and it's easily the most surprising game of the year, but it is easily fitting into my number 7 slot. Number 6, South Park, Fractured But Whole. While I loved South Park and the Stick of Truth, it always felt a little stale to me after a long session of gaming. But South Park Fractured But Whole somehow seemed to fix all the issues I originally had with the first game. It now includes a grid-based battlefield and large team combat that always keep the battling fun. And with a ton of side quests, it always felt like I was enjoying my time with the game, especially while helping a gay fish's mom get into heaven with the assistance of Seaman. Plus, with the large assortment of teammates to choose from, including the Coon and Captain Diabetes, the best one, the action never felt forced. Like, for example, getting attacked by the mob, only to be saved by your drunk friend's dad looking for his car keys, which inevitably turns into a boss fight. Putting that in any other game would be the most bizarre thing ever. But, you know, with South Park, it kind of fits perfectly. Number 4, Horizon Zero Dawn. Have you ever wondered what would happen to people if the internet ever became a weapon? Well, fret not, friends, I've got the game for you. Horizon Zero Dawn was an odd mix of open-world exploration and computer hacking. The game focuses very heavily on combat as you make your way through the world, although once you do reach the later parts of the game, long range definitely trumps any close range fighting you're planning. Another interesting feature is the ability to hack the creatures in the game and have them fight for you. Now, while it is true you can only have one creature at a time, it's still invaluable help to have the enemy be distracted by a giant saber-toothed tiger or a giant cybertronic T-Rex monster while you shoot them from a distance with your cyber bow that does shock or fire or ice damage, just instantly killing them. And between combat, exploring the world, and just experiencing the story itself, it wasn't hard for this game to make the top 4 of my list. Number 3, The Legend of Zelda, Breath of the Wild. This game was easily the first game of the year to just wow me right from the start. With a massive open world, literally everything in the game had a use, and you could literally skip the whole game if you wanted to, and head straight to the boss with nothing but a tunic and a twig. You could. Everything about this game just shouts fun right in your face, just gets right up on your face and just screams fun. I mean, the ability to grab a twig off the ground and light it on fire and use it as a weapon, or just light everything in the kingdom on fire with your fire twig. It just reminded me of the good times when I was a juvenile pyromaniac. But that's just one kind of weapon. And although most of your weapons did seem to break fairly quick, with what just seemed like a couple of hits sometimes, even leaving you utterly defenseless, it still gave you that chance to be like, hey, try out this spear, try this giant axe. Hey, you finally found the Master Sword. It just gave you that option of different ways to go about it and trying to think like you wouldn't. It encouraged you to be creative in how you chose to go about the game. Like the fact that you can throw a metal boomerang, catch it with your magnetism superpowers from the Sheikah Slate, and have an infinite spinning blade of doom is genius, and something nobody is going to think of right away, if at all. The game challenges you to play different, but never loses that fun quality that we all know Zelda to have. Number 2, Mario Odyssey. Oh, where even to start? Mario is back and he's here to stop a wedding. Nah, that doesn't sound right. Mario in the land of magic hats that let you possess people. Closer. Oh, I got it. Mario in the case of Princess Peach getting kidnapped again. Yep, that's the one. Mario was a game that did exactly what everyone expected it to do. Just blow everyone away, and was easily one of the best games of the year. I think it was just overall one of the best games of the year. With a huge list of worlds to explore, hundreds of moons to collect, and strangely one of the most interesting stories, I have to say, it was able to draw me in almost immediately. Especially with the ability to possess almost anything in the game. I've never had more fun as Mario running around inside of a Goomba, especially when that Goomba is standing on the top of 8 other Goombas and they're all helping me catfish a girl Goomba just to get a damn moon shard she has, because you need to collect them all because it's basically crack. Honestly, deciding between this and my number 1 game of the year was nearly impossible, but in the end, I had to put Mario Odyssey as my number 2 spot. Number 1, Persona 5. Alright everyone, here it is, my top game of the year. Normally, for game of the year, I know far ahead of time which game I loved best. But it was honestly a constant battle between my top 3 games. They were duking it out right till the end, but Persona 5 just nudged them out. Everything about Persona 5 I loved. The social linking, the jokes, the dungeons were super interesting. Some dragged, but most of them were cool. The crew you ran with. The only thing I liked more about Persona 4 was honestly Teddy, and Morgana really isn't that bad. The story was told in large chunks while mostly outside of the dungeons. Honestly, I'd say in this 100-hour long game, you probably only spend about 20-ish hours of the game inside the actual dungeons. The rest of the time, you're honestly just chilling with your homies, completing social links, boosting your stats, or hanging out with your cat, building smoke bombs for things. While the dungeons were fun and gave you a large, interesting chunk of the story for each of the characters, that's not what kept you going. The characters outside of the dungeons when you were social linking with them, that's what kept you going for hours at a time, finding out more about Ryuji's past, Anne's past, Morgana, and the rest of your team's backstories makes you want to spend time with these characters and find out more about them. Overall, I could go on about Persona 5 for hours, but I won't spoil the game for you. If you have an unrealistic amount of time to sink into one game, I would say this is the game to play. It's enjoyable, it gets you thinking, and it definitely deserves my number 1 spot on my top 10 game of the year list.